The following program contains explicit support of the U.S. military. If you suffer from pacifism, Randall may not be right for you. Check with a veteran.
Speaking the truth when others hold their tongues. Wrestling for justice with left-wingers and crocodiles. Resisting the temptation to keep the peace at any price. The only talk show host who writes his own theme music, Randall Terry.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'd rather be an outhouse rat than a White House rat. And by the way, my initials, R-A-T. Oh yeah, Randall Allen Terry. I eat your insults for breakfast. Oh, we're gonna have a great show today. It's Veterans Day, and we wanna first of all thank our veterans. God bless you, thank you for your service. We're gonna have a special time in this program just for veterans, and the silly season has begun. Now that we've won the election, we're going to have all these different pro-life groups take credit for it and try and lead us back into the ghetto, the cyberspace, where we do nothing except click and clack and send them money. I'm going to teach you why, as a Tea Party citizen reformer, you cannot have a hired gun in D.C. The fate of our nation rests with you. We'll go to Jihad Granny. When we come back, I will be in front of the Iwo Jima Memorial. Today's program is brought to you in part by the Marines, always faithful, and by U.S. Army Special Forces, to free the oppressed. Again, thank God for our veterans, and veterans, we thank you. To Jihad Granny, and then to the Iwo Jima Memorial.
Allah Akbar. Good morning, boys and girls. You know the bombing that took place in that filthy nest in Iraq? Well, good news. We are about to do the same thing. I mean, you know, my boys. In Egypt, we are going to spread the peace of Islam everywhere.
Welcome back, friend. It's Veterans Day, as you know, and we're here in front of the Iwo Jima Memorial. Before talking about Veterans Day, I thought that I would read a poem written on Flanders Field from World War I. World War I, of course, is the origin of Veterans Day. I'll tell you more about that in a minute, but first the poem. In Flanders fields, the poppies blow, between the crosses, row by row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks, still bravely singing, fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you, from failing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields. World War I ended on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. Hence, November 11th became Armistice Day. President Eisenhower changed it to Veterans Day because of the number of men who served in World War II and in Korea. And he and the Congress felt that it was more appropriate to incorporate all of the veterans who have served. Right now, there are over 23 million living veterans in the United States of America. And before I make a political commentary, I want to urge you to learn as a matter of course, when you see a veteran, to simply walk up, shake their hand, and say thank you for your service to our country. It's a simple gesture of goodwill, of acknowledgement that if it wasn't for our military, we simply would not exist as
a somewhat free nation. We owe, in great part, our freedom to our veterans. And now, a small political commentary. We would not exist as a free people without our military. The very birth of this republic was because of the armies of George Washington and the Continental Congress prevailing against the British. Our survival against the reprisal war in 1812, again, our military. World War I, World War II, where we were actually threatened with the loss of our liberty as a nation should we have lost to the powers of evil, the Axis powers. We have, I believe, a moral obligation to discuss what we are fighting for. In 1992, President-elect Clinton shocked the world by using Veterans Day to announce that he was going to have homosexuals in the military. Bob Dole and Strom Thurmond held a press conference and said, "No, you're not." The don't ask, don't tell policy emerged out of that. But I want to step back and I want to ask you a very pointed question. Is there any thinking person alive who believes that the 16 million people that were involved in World War II, the millions in World War I, the war dead of the war between the states, the Civil War, can any thinking person say that those men, and then later on women, but that those soldiers were risking their lives and many times giving their lives so that we could murder our own young, so that we could kill our own babies, or so that we could destroy the sacrament of marriage given to us by God Himself? Our military defends America. Our military defends our freedoms. The question is, what is America? What do our freedoms include? And so, I believe that on this Veterans Day, I have a duty to discuss. Number one, we should always thank veterans. You see a vet, walk up to them, thank them for their service to the country. But then we have to continue this discussion as to what is this country? What were we founded to be? What have we tragically become? And how does the military play into who we are as a people and what we may yet be? Finally, I want to say to all veterans, as well as thank you, I want to say, fight politically. Fight for what is true and just. Because I know that in the officer corps, the federal policy is to keep officers out of politics. In my opinion, I understand why they're doing it, but I think in many ways it's a disaster. And if you are retired military, then I urge you, raise your voice to the heavens to help bring moral sanity back to this country and stop the Obama agenda internationally, domestically, with our military. Raise up your voice for freedom and for justice and for the defense of life as someone who has served. And no matter what, no matter where you are in any political spectrum, I personally thank you for your service to this country, and we all owe you a debt of honor. God bless you. I'll be right back.
No, Randall wasn't at the Battle of the Alamo, and you wouldn't have been either if you were that sick.
Moments with Moses. You shall not see your brother's donkey, or his ox fallen down by the way, and withhold your help from them. You shall help him to lift them up again.
I 501c3 and I need you to give me lots of honey. I cannot fight in the very important elections, but I need still more money. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the broadcast. 501c3s, they're a deal with the devil. Now, listen to me. I'm talking about the tax-exempt status for groups that say that they want to influence the political arena, the direction of the country, that they want to be victorious in the culture wars. They are just telling very, 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 very big lies. They're lying because the 501c3 statute forbids them from endorsing a candidate or opposing a candidate. And then once the candidates are in office, they are only allowed to use a minuscule, less than 5% of their budget for lobbying, say to push for legislation to ban money to Planned Parenthood or to repeal Obamacare. So if they've got $1 million budget, decent amount of money, they can only spend $50,000 saying repeal Obamacare. That's one piece of legislation. Do you understand how hamstrung they are? Now this is what I call the silly season. So let's go to the news, holding, as I have here in front of me, my beautiful reality chime. We're going to call this the reality chime. Reality. Doctor, give me the news. We need reality instead of the blues. I'm going to go and talk first off about priests for life. Oh, priests for life? I thought all priests should be for life. Yes, they should. I'm talking about an organization that most of you have not heard of, except for some diehard Catholic pro-lifers. Priests for Life has, last I knew, about a $5 million budget. Missy Smith begged Priests for Life prior to her election to send out an email blast about her campaign at any level. Did they do it? No. But they sent out a fundraising letter before the election saying how they needed to raise $2 million to influence the election. Listen, hold on. I feel the chime coming on again. Influence the election? But don't you need to be able to talk about the election? Yes. And if you talked about the election and bad candidates and good candidates, wouldn't you be jeopardizing your 501c3 status? Yes, you would. And so here's what happened. We talked about it on this show. Priests for Life sent out this frantic fundraising letter saying, your voice is in trouble. No. My voice is good. Your voice is good. Priests for Life cannot be our voice, okay? We are going to give an account to God for what we say and what we do. We will give an account to the Almighty. All right, so that was number one. Number two, now they sent out a letter post-election. I've got to read some of this. Where are we at in time? Where are we at? 3:30. All right, I got to hurry up here, but this is too sweet. This is too good. All right, so right after the election, this letter goes out. By the way, I know the people who run Priests for Life. They're friends of mine. You want to know why I'm doing this? Because I'm full of the wrath of the Lord, and I'm tired of keeping it in. I want to end legalized child killing. And these scams, they're scams, are a part of why we're losing, why we're not winning. So this letter goes out. Like me, you probably celebrated on election night as our fellow Americans swept pro-lifers into office. As these headlines from LifeSite News show. Whoa, LifeSite News, wow. Ghetto press. If you Google Priests for Life in the news, you get 6 clicks. 6. All right? A $5 million ministry who's saying we're going to influence the elections. Do Google News, Priests for Life, you get 6 clicks. And guess what? All 6 are ghetto press. All 6. None of them are in the mainstream media. 0. Nada. Now you take a look at how much media Missy Smith got from running her campaign, right? In just Washington, D.C., just one itty-bitty campaign for 2.5 weeks. She dwarfed what these people did. All right, I'm running out of time. Today, I need you to click here so that Priests for Life can keep the people of life united and speaking with one voice so that these newly elected public officials govern just as they campaign. In other words, we've got to keep their feet to the fire. I feel another chime coming on. I hear another big, very, very, very big, very, very, very big lie. You see, first of all, Priests for Life can't keep the pro-life voice united because they didn't have a voice. No one heard them prior to the election. All right? 6 clicks on a Google search, Google search, all for ghetto press, means no one heard your voice. Number 2, we've got to keep their feet to the fire. Really? How? How would you do that? Now, you can see this footage we're playing right here of us protesting in Washington, D.C., lobbying, going into the offices, demanding that they defund Planned Parenthood. Priests for Life isn't going to do this. Do you know why? Because, let's switch octaves. Because they have the 501c3 status, tax exempt. We care more about our tax exempt status than we do making child killing illegal, but we can dance around the edges and skim and scam and give people the impression that we're making a really big difference by good copywriters. Just good copywriters. And people, unfortunately like you and me, we're stupid enough. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be unkind. We're uneducated enough and deceived enough, is that kinder? To believe this nonsense and to send money so that we can be your voice. They can't be our voice. I've got to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to tell you exactly what people want, what they're after when they ask you to sign their petitions, okay? These online petitions, I'm going to tell you what they're after and you won't be happy. Don't go away.
What are you guys here lobbying for?
Trying to get some veterans' problems straightened out.
Good for you. Thank you for your service to the country.
Thank you.
God bless you. Long life to you.
The flame of Christian ethics is still our best guide. Only on this basis can we reconcile the rights of the individual with the demands of society. Sir Winston Churchill.
Welcome back to the program, friend. All right, in the last segment, I went way too long, so now we've got a clock issue we've got to deal with. This is what I decided I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a little foretaste of what we're going to talk about in tomorrow's show. You are not going to want to miss tomorrow's program. Are you hearing me? Why, when you get one of those petitions to sign, why do people send that to you? Why? Well, I'm going to talk about these in length tomorrow. One is money. The next is money. The next after that is money. And they're all different reasons for money. I'll explain it. They want to contact you. And then, this is where we get into the dark stuff. They want to give you an illusion. They want to give people gimmicks. And they basically are involved in disemboweling citizen reformers. I'm going to spend the lion's part of tomorrow's program dealing with the facts, and I'm going to show you the evidence that these huge multi-million-dollar ministries, 501c3 tax-exempt groups, are perpetuating child killing, perpetuating the demise of the family, perpetuating the loss of righteousness and justice in the public square because of their commitment and their addiction to the 501c3 and because they're selling a false product. I'll deal with that. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, some fighting words from Abraham Lincoln. As if we don't have enough fighting words already today. I need more.
The Lord says to my Lord, sit at my right hand till I make your enemies your footstool. The Lord sends forth from Zion your mighty scepter. Rule in the midst of your foes. Your people will offer themselves freely on the day you lead your host upon the holy mountains.
Abraham Lincoln said, I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. I'm not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live by the light that I have. I must stand with anybody that stands right, stand with him while he is right, and part with him when he goes wrong. We're going to deal tomorrow with those who are going wrong. Some of these are people that I have been in the movement with for many years, but they're leading people astray, and we've got to stop this nonsense before this republic perishes. Again, thank you to the veterans who have served. God bless you.